Now we're ready to begin the process of sanding our dragster. I'm not quite sure how your balsa dragster or basswood dragster grew. That could be the top of the tree, or that could be the top of the tree. But either way, when we sand, we'll want to sand with the grain as much as we can, not against the grain. What you're probably wanting to do now is make this surface smooth for painting, and we don't want to have bandsaw marks. So bandsaw marks are the marks made from when I cut the dragster. You can see there's some bandsaw marks there. You may have to go against the grain when you're sanding, removing some of those bandsaw marks. The way we measure sandpaper is by the term grit, and the lower the number, the rougher the sandpaper. I've got a couple examples. This is what sandpaper comes in. It comes in full-size sheets, and on the back of a full-size sheet it'll tell you a number like 60 or 80 or 220, and the lower the number, the rougher the sandpaper. I've already pre-cut the squares into something that you can use a little bit easier, and sometimes the squares on the back will have the number and sometimes they won't. This one you can't see a number, and this one you can actually see a number 60. So this would be 60 grit. We'll want to start with something like that, and again we'll try to remove bandsaw marks by sanding as much as we can with the grain. And we'll continue back and forth, and this can also do some shaping of the dragster. Maybe you don't want sharp edges, but you'd want something rounded. Sanding doesn't take just 15 seconds or 5 minutes. Sanding might take 20 minutes or an hour. If you want to come in the morning, I have a belt and disc sander, and you can do some sanding with a tool, but that has to be done before school. I'm going to continue using 60 grit to remove my bandsaw marks and shape my dragster, and then once I'm done with 60 grit, I'll move up to something a little bit softer. It's a higher number, maybe 120, or I'll finish with a sandpaper that here is 220. So the 220 grit is going to make that dragster feel very smooth. And we wouldn't want to start with 220 because it wouldn't do anything to those bandsaw marks except polish those. We want to remove those marks. I'll continue with the 220, making sure that I keep my sawdust in my work area, and return the sandpaper back to the tub or wherever we've decided to keep that. You don't have to worry about sanding the bottom of your dragster, but if you do that and you erase your name, go ahead and rewrite your name and put your hour on that as well, so we keep your dragster on that proper shelf. That's all we've got for sanding. Hopefully that works for you. Thanks.